Well, greetings, friends, and welcome to the Gospel Underground Podcast. This is episode 150, The Creator. We are broadcasting live, live for us from the worldwide headquarters of the Gospel Underground here in Blacksburg. I'm joined today by one of my favorite hangs, my main man, Tommy Reed. Thomas Reed Monahan is joining us today on the podcast for a little bit of an extended reviewish because we both like science fiction movies, and I figured Tommy's opinion, being probably the most film astute brother that I know, his opinion would be a bit better than mine today. So I invited him on. Tommy, welcome, brother, to the podcast.
Greetings, Reed. I haven't been on the podcast in a while. It's exciting.
Yes. Tommy likes to make fun of me sometimes, so if that happens in the podcast, that is normal for us. We like it.
I'll keep the fat jokes down.
Yeah, because I'm not fat anymore, Tom. I'm down 24 pounds, I'm on the come up. Hey, well, Tommy and I went to see a movie that unfortunately is not being viewed enough. The box office returns financially here in the US of A, at least, have not been great on this film called The Creator, right? It's a science fiction, artificial intelligence kind of epic. And we were both looking forward to it. And science fiction is a genre of writing and stories and films. I love it. Tommy and I both love it. I feel like science fiction as a whole explores our world beyond itself. In other words, it's one of the few places left in kind of a materialistic ideology like scientific naturalism, where we're all just quantum fluctuations, that explores metaphysics or bigger ideas outside of just, making a spaceship go. They're exploring questions of identity, who and what we are, and who is the creator. And certainly when you have a movie entitled that, they did not disappoint. They took up that in their mythology. We have to remember, though, right, Tom, that sometimes I get caught up. I'm reading all these Star Wars books you guys have got me into now. You forget that all of this stuff is completely made up. Now, a movie like The Creator is starting to hit the blending of science reality and science fiction because we have chat bots, right? We have chat GPT or generative AI now. So of course we have, robots that can do everything in this movie. But one of the reasons why I like scientific myth making, some of it's done for nefarious purposes and has axe to grind. I think of things like the fantasy series Golden Compass, right? There are axes to grind against, say organized religion or the idea of God, but also exploration of these things in a way that's invitational. C.S. Lewis said it really well because he studied medieval literature and world mythology and had a really good insight into what he called Christianity as true myth. Now, some people will hear that and think, well, is he saying the Jesus story is like a Luke Skywalker story, like a mythology? Well, not exactly. But here's what C.S. Lewis said. Now, the story of Christ is simply a true myth, a myth working on us in the same way as others, but with this tremendous difference that it really happened. And one must be content to accept it in the same way, remembering that it is God's myth, where the others are men's myths. For example, the pagan stories of God expressing himself to the mind of poets using images he found there, while Christianity is God expressing himself through what we call real things, real space, time, and history. Jesus lived, died, and rose. Therefore, it is true, not in the sense of being a description of God directly that no infinite mind could take in, but in the sense of being the way in which God chooses to appear to our faculties. So that's C.S. Lewis on true myth. I do think mythology and myth making is part of the religious quest to seek out Pneumata or creator, Tom, and this movie did not disappoint. If you don't mind, give us a general kind of plot summary. Tommy and I both watched this once. We haven't even, you might have watched a YouTube on it or something, but we watched it once. This is a one-take podcast. What do you think? Summarize the plot for our listeners.
Yeah, so I've only seen it once. I've watched like one review on it by someone else. So it's a little tough to explain, but the beginning, it starts out, the opening sequence is robots like developing, and they're starting out assisting us in like little tasks like folding your clothes, and then they're moving up to like making our food and
surgery,
surgery, and then they move up to like
RoboCop.
Yeah, people like almost lending their likeness to make robots.
Yeah,
and in this universe, the robots have like a big hole in the back of their head, so you can
their
see
face. When Tommy says lending their likeness,
their face is a human face. Yeah,
so, your face.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then they progress, and the conflict established between the AI and the humans is a nuclear warhead goes off in Los Angeles, said to be sent by the robots, and it kills millions of people, I think, around the western coast of America. So America shuts its borders, cuts off all AI, and says we're going to go out and find all AI and kill all AI.
Yeah, and it's a little different in the sense it's not just humans versus AI; it's Americans versus other humans,
the rest,
who want to partner with AI, mainly in Asia.
Yeah, so that's where the conflict mainly takes place, because I think they call it New Asia.
Yeah.
Has taken in
the
and
Republic of New Asia.
Yeah.
Looks like China, right? Yeah.
Well, it's debatable. And so they're kind of living in a symbiotic buddy, you help me, I help you society with the robots. Yeah. So the Americans make this huge weapon called the Nomad, which is essentially it's a space station within the Earth's atmosphere,
like a space weapons platform.
Yeah. And it's huge and it's amazing. So the Americans use that to go find the robots, and then Nomad comes in and just drops a big missile on them and blows them all up, essentially. Yeah. And so our main character is Joshua, played by John David Washington. Phenomenal actor. Son of Denzel.
Son of Denzel.
Yeah. Dad even said that. He looked across at me and he goes, sounds like Denzel. I was like, yeah it's this kid. Yeah. So our main character, Joshua, he's a part of this American strike team, essentially. We first see him in the past. So he's he's got a wife in New Asia, and he's trying to find this, creator of the AI, the creator named Namada.
Yeah, which means creator.
Yeah. So his wife, it turns out, is the daughter of Namada, so he's like working the long game trying to get there. But then he actually falls in love with her, and she's pregnant with a kid.
They're married, they're pregnant, yeah.
And then one night everything goes south because he's the daughter of Namada's with all the robots, and he's in the robot society and everything. The robots find a U.S. agent that's broken in, and so Joshua, our main character, goes one-on-one with him, and he's like, dude, You've called me too early. Like, I haven't found him.
Blow my cover.
Yeah. And so they send the Nomad in and just wipe all the robots in the camp out. And we supposedly thought that Joshua's wife had died.
Yeah.
Long story short, Joshua goes and works to clean up Los Angeles from the nuclear fallout, pick up waste, and destroy robots in there that are left. And then he gets commissioned by the U.S. Army to go find this big super weapon. Nomada's apparently got this big,
that will take down the Nomad.
Yeah, the Nomad cost like $10 trillion or whatever, and took 5 years to build. And so he's sent to go find this weapon. So they assemble a strike team.
Weapon X.
Yeah, it's like Wolverine.
Yeah.
So they assemble this strike team, go and find the weapon. Mission goes south really quick because they're trying to break into Namada's lab. And the robots are
well defended,
very capable at what they can do. And their blasters are kind of funny too, because it's essentially AK-47 rifles. Just they shoot laser
bolts. Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
It's kind of mixing Star Wars and Vietnam War movie or something. Yeah.
Joshua, our main character, finds the weapon. Turns out it's a what'd you say, 6 or 7?
Yeah, maybe even like 5 or 6.
5 or 6, literal little girl, but it's got the hole in the back of the head, so it's a robot.
But has been raised since a baby.
Yeah.
As a robotic embryo and knit together. And apparently we found out later imprinted with the child's, I don't know, cognitive imprint of Joshua's baby.
Yeah.
So it's kind of his test tube robot baby.
So Joshua has got information that this kid knows where his wife is. Now, his wife is thought to be dead from that past explosion, but he's got hope. He's like, oh, she's alive. I'd give anything to just see her or talk to her for 5 more seconds. So he takes the child. They go throughout New Asia. Yeah. And there's some great Hans Zimmer music in there, too.
Yeah.
So it's essentially, it's kind of, it's kind of like they've been doing this a lot recently, like especially in The Mandalorian, where like big tough guy gets a little girl or gets a little boy.
Yeah, Baby Yoda.
I've heard of it in The Last of Us as well, and then they take care of them, and so it's kind of that formula, but done
the traveling with a youngster who's
Yeah.
the key to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but a little different because their interactions are pretty funny. Because the child is very like has a lot of power, like it can control
And is learning rapidly.
Yeah, can
right?
control or shut down any technology in the thing.
Yeah, just by thinking. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
scary. Wirelessly connecting to
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
so they go into like big city. It's not Shanghai, but it's
Yeah.
something close
Yeah.
to it. To find that old U.S. American agent that the robots had found and blew Joshua's cover originally. So now he's been converted. I think he's married to an AI person or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where it kind of gets to like, I think good sci-fi, should see kind of a bit of realism and kind of frighten you a little bit.
Yeah.
And what this movie does really well is they go into this like, it's almost like a sweatshop.
Yeah.
And where just tons of like AI bodies are just being printed and they look just like humans.
They're
And I was-
3D printing them in mass. You're like, oh man,
Yeah,
there's a
and
lot on the line.
Yeah, it's freaky. So the robots try and get the child back, but the child doesn't want to leave Joshua because Joshua's been nice to the kid.
Yeah, they have a bond of some sort, like father-daughter thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of cute. And the little actress lady, I can't remember her name, but she's phenomenal. She does a great job.
Yeah, Madeline Una Voiles
Yeah.
is her name. I think played Alfie,
Yeah.
which Alpha is kind of Alpha
Yeah,
and
her
Omega.
name is Alpha Omega.
Yeah.
So the beginning and the end.
Which is used for Jesus Christ in the Bible. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So long story short, Joshua, after spending time with these robots, starts to be like, oh, maybe these people aren't like as evil as we used to think, and
Oh, in fact, the AI robots are perfect.
Yeah,
because they're utopian goodness.
we later. Now, in my personal opinion, I'm an optimist. So they later say in the movie that the missile strike on Los Angeles was just a coding error by the humans.
So they blew themselves up.
So they blew
Blame the
themselves up and
robots.
then blamed the robots. I think that's just what the robots have been told, in my opinion. That way they can never see themselves as evil.
Yeah. But see, Tom is the opposite. I'm more cynical.
Yeah,
I
so
think
Dad's like, that's stupid.
they're making the robots the pure goodness and the evil Americans.
But there's plenty of examples that they are not pure because
one lady's kids got shredded by some robots.
Our main protagonist or antagonist is this lady from a U.S. strike force who has lost 2 sons in the robot war, and she talks about. I'm not going to describe how, but she says one of her sons was taken captive and then essentially like chopped into pieces and tortured for years, and then killed. So that's why she's trying to fight them.
So you're right that maybe the utopian goodness of the robots is a little dubious and maybe a little self reinforcing.
That's why I come from it. But.
Awesome.
So Joshua eventually, the Americans they're tracking Joshua because of his suit. He's got this military suit that he's still got on. So they find the child eventually, and there's this big day fight, which is what this director, Gareth Edwards, I think is his name. He's director of Rogue One, so he's really good at doing like daytime action, which a lot of people can't do. Yeah, where the Americans send in these like huge tanks, which are crazy.
They're awesome. The tech that the Americans use is pretty techy, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
And the way they have like targeting,
it's a little steampunk too, right?
Yeah. It's a little like old but really new still. Yeah. And they have these really cool targeting systems where they'll like highlight you, so there'll be a little blue circle around you, and these robots will be like running away
because they know they're about to get fried.
Yeah. So we get to this, robot like temple for Namada, which is where it kind of lost me.
Yeah,
with these like robot Buddhist monks or something.
and they have Buddhist monk robot statues, like they're venerated, and all this was happening in like decades, right? It's 2065, I think it's setting.
So like 40.
So all of a sudden they worship robots over there, you know, along with other, I guess, Avatar. It does make sense to Eastern philosophy a little bit, but it's a little bit much. I think sociologically that could happen that fast.
And we've established prior that if someone's dead, you can scan their brain, put it on a little chip, and stick it into one of the AI people
into their bodies briefly to kind of interrogate.
And you can have them for like 30 seconds or something. They'll be alive. So
and maybe if you catch it early enough, maybe you can resurrect them almost, right?
No, they said even at the they can.
So the ending scene was just a 1 minute goodbye kiss.
Yeah. So You know,
we're giving away too much.
Joshua finds his wife in a coma. Turns out she's alive. She lost the baby in the coma. She is Namada. Her father was Namada.
She is the new creator.
She's the creator, but they passed it on to her. The robots have her in stasis, but they don't want to kill her because it's in like their programming that they can't kill their creator.
Yeah,
so
and then she will be lost to eternity if they kill her or something. It was kind of weird, quasi-religious.
So they were like, Joshua, can you unplug or pull the plug so she can rest?
Go to heaven or whatever, peace, whatever.
So Joshua does, but the Americans come and they try and blow everyone up.
And let's kind of pause the plot here because the ending, but we won't ruin it completely. Or spoil it completely for you because Tommy and I want you guys to go to see this movie. Go see it. Spend some money on it. Like it should be doing better. I mean, I'll tell you at the end why it's not doing better, in my opinion. But hey, what do you think technically about the film? Technical aspects of the execution of the movie. This is for the movie people out there on the underground. Tom, what do you think about that? You mentioned Zimmer. I thought the soundscape was phenomenal.
Yeah, first of all, Zimmer's known for creating great environments, not necessarily like motifs.
Did he do Dune? The first?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He's done Dune, Interstellar, Inception.
Yeah.
So he does really good at creating like good sound environments, and they also
represent the beings that are
and like the type of societies we've changed.
Yeah, it's so good.
They also use songs from like Radiohead, which are like
like
oddly
Nirvana-ish
oddly perfect.
Yeah,
there's one song especially where it's like very high tech, but it's very like edgy and unsettling, and it's when they're about to go fight all the robots, so it kind of fits. Budget wise, $80 million budget is very impressive for how good.
Very low for what they produced on and visually.
Yeah. Like for example, the latest Little Mermaid was $265 million.
Right. Nobody saw it. I don't think though.
Which, if you look, I mean, it's the CGI is very finished. The robots look fluid. The movement is good. The action is like very kinetic.
You almost forget that there isn't much in terms of like Skywalker Ranch CGI stuff. I mean, there is obviously there is, but it doesn't look like it. It looks very gritty, very real. But you said they shot on location a lot, right?
Yeah. So the director decided his pitch was, "Hey guys, I want to do this story, and I'm going to do it for really cheap." And they were like, "How can you do that?" So he sent out about 4 or 5 man crews to go shoot at 80 different locations.
Yeah.
And do here. Okay, I want this shot here, this shot here, this shot here. So less power on less manpower, but
less green screen.
And there's some shots of like there's this great like China mountains with a lake, and it just looks
amazing.
$1 million. It's amazing.
That ones almost look like Thailand or islands offshore or something, or like that was really cool. The visuals are tremendous.
So from a technical scale, it's honestly one of the better movies in the last like 5 years.
Yeah,
I thought. Wild.
Yeah, I agreed. I thought it was really invigorating, and they had this little feature where almost like separated mini chapters of the movie with kind of old title screens from like Groucho Marx movies or something.
So like in silent films, they used to do this thing where like you can't talk in a silent film, so they'd be like, "He's climbing the wall," and it'd be like a cut to a black screen with white text.
Yeah.
And so that they do that to like separate almost like first act, third act, second act type stuff.
Yes.
But the first one's like the child, and the next one's like the creator or the mother. Or like they do stuff.
The
like
mother. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I thought that was alluring. It was almost like captivating. Like and Tommy knows my thoughts on it. I give my thoughts too quickly on films. Probably sometimes during them, I'm like, like saying stuff.
Be quiet, Dad.
We're just trying to experience it. Stop analyzing. I'm philosophically engaged too much, I think. But I thought I was so captivated. Amazing. And for me, it was a movie of almost 2 halves. The first half, my thoughts were amazing world. I love this idea of the creator because obviously a sentient being knowing it was created is kind of significant for us, whether we know that or not. Incredible backstory, right? That robots are helping everywhere. It's all shiny, happy people moment. And then all of a sudden they nuked LA. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And the Americans, the US Americans, of course, are like, nah, we're done with this. And so it's very believable. It's like, all of a sudden, the creators of this stuff probably, or, one of the strongest purveyors of AI is, obviously America and China right now. The U.S. are like, no, we're done. We're killing all of them, right? In this nomad thing, awesome text, great characters, right? Washington's character is named Joshua, right? Which is Hebrew, for God saves. It's also Jesus's name, right? That's pretty Yeshua, right? That's Jesus. So there's a savior figure going on, Alpha and Omega for Alfie, the duo. They're saving whatever world, robot world, or world for all sentient creatures or something. And so, love the first half. The second half lost me, but there's a hinge line for me, which was probably the most philosophically interesting of the movie for me, where I think Alfie asks her dad, basically Joshua, about heaven or something, right?
She asks, like, what is heaven?
What is heaven? Yeah, because your mom's in heaven or something, or his wife is in heaven, I think is what he said. My wife's in heaven. And he said, you have to be a good person to go to heaven. And he said, I'm not a good person. And then Alfie says what?
Well, he doesn't say I'm not a good person. Well, he implies that.
He implies he's not.
Alfie goes, well, neither of us are going to heaven because you're not a good person. You're not good, and I'm not a person. That's
yes. And that to me, I mean, we could talk about that for a long time. What does it mean that he's not good? And it's conscious of that. Obviously, man is sinful, separated of God. All sin falls short of the glory of God. That there is this kind of beauty and flawedness of human beings. Being contrasted with a robot who, again, she didn't claim not to be good because the robots think they're good, right? They think they're really good. But she says she's not a person. And that's probably one of the times when I whispered in the movie because I believe that
it's more like
yeah, I'm like, oh, come on. Because philosophically, I do think they're non-human persons, right? Obviously, I believe in God. I believe in a triune God. I believe in demonic and angelic beings, right? That I think have personhood. And I think, robots could have personhood. Now, that's controversial. I probably need to study that a little bit more. They don't have human personhood or created in the image and likeness of God, right? They're created in the image and likeness of us, all too much probably. So my question about the utopian goodness of robots would be, I don't know, can we make a perfectly good robot? We don't even know what good is. How are we going to do this? So I love that line, and I think for me, at that point in the movie, I was like in movie heaven. I was like, this is awesome. I just love this, right? And then, Tom, the second half came where, well, AI says they didn't really nuke LA. It was the fault of the bad humans. And it kind of, we're just defending ourselves and our freedom, right? We're about freedom. So they want you to cheer.
Which definitely is counteracted, though, because our main core of robot people that we follow, what's his name? Watanabe is one of them. He's an actor phenomenon.
Yeah. Chandra Patel, who plays kind of every cop.
Because they can lend their likeness.
Yeah.
But you definitely see this core group that's like protecting Namada is like they always think they're right. We're protecting. We're being peaceful.
We're a little kumbaya family doing good.
And then there's definitely a couple robots that we notice that are just like very brutal and very like, no, we're protecting ourselves, and we're going to kill all of you protecting ourselves. Which we see in the lab
for freedom,
because they slaughter lots of people.
Yeah, and so for me, it almost started tilting towards, and not as severe, but it almost tilted toward Avatar vibes or Dances with Wolves, right? Which is basically Avatar before Avatar.
Dances with Wolves is much better.
Okay. So we're evil USA. And the good robots in China collaborating to be the good people resisting the marauding, technological, destructive Americans. And I don't know, then it starts to drag on me. And then the robots and religion stuff.
Yeah, they try and introduce like a lot of like quote unquote high concept.
Yes,
stuff.
Quickly though.
Yeah.
And you got no backstories like, oh, there's just robot statues in the temple now. It's like, it makes no sense. In the weird family vibes, I mean, I get they have to make us think why Joshua is going to turn his back on the U.S. America and side with the robot utopists, know, and he's, so that was just weird. So they had to do this weird family vibe, like, hey, I'm going to take down the whole USA, who he was fighting for, undercover for, lost limbs for, right?
Yeah, but he's very cynical after his wife dies, and he's like, the only reason they bring him back on to the team is because they're like, oh, your wife's alive.
Yes,
which is his only. Because
he was pissed off at the USA already. You're right. But the impetus for all that is to change that is he's like a robot daddy now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The wife gets resurrected.
No, they put they scan her brain and put it in a chip, and they reunite for the last second. That had been alluded to earlier in the film.
Yes, but Alfie tries to do it and fails. Like the robot savior baby tries to resurrect Mama with putting the chip in her head to say, "Mama, come back," and they deny Alfie. She cries and loses Mama, but. I guess the program takes a little time to boot.
Yeah.
so resurrected Maya wife gets booted up later, and then just in time for Josh was going to blow up the space station. You come in just in time for a kiss.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Which for me was not as ridiculous as it was for Dad.
It was just funny
because they had done the groundwork earlier.
That it could have a minute of life.
They've established this character of Joshua who would have given his anything to see her again.
Yeah, that's very true. And maybe, Tom, maybe she was a really good kisser.
Gemma Chan plays his wife, by the way, and she does great.
Yes. And so her name as well, right? Obviously, Numata's daughter is named Maya, right? And Maya is kind of a concept from Eastern religion. I don't know if you knew this, Tom. It means illusion or magic. In other words, one online definition, the inferior energy of the Lord, material nature, right? So there's in Eastern philosophy, there's spirit is real. Some Hinduism, Brahman, right? The oneness of all things is real. The material nature is illusion. It's not real. It's enchanting. And we're in a state of forgetfulness. And so the fact that she's the creator of the robots, which aren't real persons, at least in this world, I think they could be persons perhaps, but it's kind of interesting that she's the one that's kind of the new creator, but the new creator is a creating of an illusory kind of reality. I thought that was kind of cool. So the good for me, you go ahead first. What did you love about it?
I personally love it's very much what the director wanted, which I feel like we don't get a lot. It's more sequels, IPs, spin-offs.
How do we? Because we got to make money, and
corporate stings, and
he's not going to make. They're not going to make money,
and he's not going to make money. You could tell he really cared about it.
Yeah, we care about it.
Yeah. And it's an original sci-fi. It's an interesting script.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of, good performances.
Yeah.
Action's fantastic. Visuals are great, like I said.
I mean, way different. Del Toro's a way different movie. But the first Pacific Rim, I thought, this is unique. This is different sci-fi. This isn't just the rehashing. I mean, obviously, that's more of a robots and monsters fighting each other than this movie. It's more philosophical, but yeah.
And soundtrack great. Score great.
Have you been listening to it?
Yeah. I was listening to it before I watched the movie. That's why in fact you're like, oh, Dad.
You're immersed in the world already.
I was like, yeah. 'Cause I love Hans.
Yeah. I thought world creation, the tech and natural world blending in Southeast Asian villages and robots was just brilliant.
And I really appreciate how it kind of does creep you out a little bit. It's kind of like, this is not good.
Yeah, if there's ever a sentient AI or generalized AI, super AI God printing soldiers to kill us all, it's obviously well-trod territory with Skynet and et cetera. Et al. I love the sound engineering as well. The on location looked amazing. Didn't look like a bunch of green screen unbelievability. It looked very believable. And I thought, for me, one of the strengths is that it was very philosophically, theologically interesting, right? Goodness and personhood. Man, that's something we ought to talk about more. If you guys could talk about that at the high school, what is goodness, truth, and beauty? And what is personhood? And why does that matter? I think great. Robots and code, right? In a world of good and bad, makes us think about, well, what are we encoding? Do we have the ability to create our, one robotics professor, I think at Carnegie Mellon, he might be at Hopkins, named Hans Moravec. He said we should fulfill evolution and create our mind children and let them kill us or whatever. Are we capable of making better, right? When the human condition is so good and so flawed at the same time. And obviously the book of Ecclesiastes, remember your creator in the days of your youth before the days of evil come. I mean, I think of that obviously as being spoken to people, right? When you're young, don't forget God, which young people can do. Because when you get old and, then what are you standing on? But I think even in terms of human beings as a community and as a long history, when we forget God, there are days of evil that can come. And there's a little bit spooky with this kind of AI robot stuff that, yeah, it's nice. They change the baby, take out the trash. But when they all start doing the nuke in LA, and there's no fridge to jump in like Indiana Jones, who might be in trouble. Any final thoughts, Tom, as we close out the podcast?
Highly recommend it. Please go see it, because this is like, personally, I've been wanting like more original movies, and then if we don't support an original movie like this, it's just going to show that people don't want that, and then it's back to the more sludge that we're watching. So as a film person,
yes. Oh, and here's why it doesn't make money, guys. You literally have a cooperation between AI robots and China
beating America,
destroying America. Tom. That for some folks at least will make them want to go see Top Gun Maverick again, which did make a lot of money. But yes, that is the premise, that the Chinese AI utopian robot world is going to destroy evil, marauding, nomad wielding America. Tom, thanks for joining me today.
No problem.
The Gospel Underground podcast produced in partnership with the Bonhoeffer House. Review us on iTunes. 5 stars are acceptable. Send your comments, feedback, philosophical reflections about AI and sentient beings and personhood. Maybe they can't be persons. Send that to us at info@gospelunderground.org. We are dialogue taking place in the borderlands between the church and culture. Tom, thanks for joining me, man. You're a good podcast guest. We'll have you on again.
Start my own movie podcast.
Tom at the movies. I'll produce it for you, brother. Peace.